Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the Taco Tuesday edition of The Rundown. I am your host today, sitting in the big chair. My name is Mike Peworski, and I don't do the show by myself.
No, you do not. I will be your co-host for today, your co-pilot, your taco sous chef, as
Oh,
it will be, talking about 2A news and conservative views. I am Craig DeLuz, coming at you from Sacramento, California.
Craig, how are things out there in California with you today? Anything new? Your governor done anything stupid? He gone out to dinner after closing the restaurants down? Anything more like that?
Dude, I will tell you, Gavin Newsom or Gavin Mussolini is continually being stupid, and he is what he is. Like, for example, went to Costco today, and everywhere else in the world at Costco, yeah, you don't have to wear a mask, except in California.
Well, the disease, the virus out there is much more
Liberalism?
deadly than anywhere
You're
else.
talking about liberalism, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely, exactly. Yeah, it spreads much faster and quicker out there. We know that for sure. And even when
Hey,
people flee, they take it with them.
exactly. Hey, buddy, I got a question. I
Yeah.
noticed that there's something extra right there.
Oh,
What is that?
oh, you mean over there,
Yes, over
over,
there.
over there,
Over
in that
there.
corner.
Yes, that right there.
Yes,
That looks like a new logo.
it does look like a new logo. Uh, First, let's go. Let's do a little review, folks. The one next to that is from Grid Defense, brought to you by this little piece of magic right here. This 80% piece of paperweight, right? 80% piece of paperweight. Well, and we love Grid. They came were the first to jump on with us. They wanted to be sponsors here on the program. And you get these little trinkets and paperweights on Freebie Friday, right? Well, another manufacturer out there decided that this was too incomplete and that you should get the rest of it to go with it. So thanks to our new good friends at Gorilla Machining for matching it up. So now it comes with the lower part. Now the upper is 100% done because there's no serial numbers on that. That's just an upper. For now, anyway, we'll get into that another show. But now we have the upper and lower brought to you by Grid Defense and Gorilla Machining. And we'll be giving those away on Freebie Friday, on Free
Folks,
for All Friday.
I just want to let you know. Look, both of their websites are linked in the description of this video. But here's the thing, folks. They're doing this because, quite frankly, they believe in the Second Amendment, and they want you folks. They want to make sure you folks have an opportunity to talk about the Second Amendment and to experience the Second Amendment. So, do me a favor, or do us a favor. Make sure you visit their website, but also make sure you watch us on Freebie Feedback Friday. That was easy for me to say, wasn't it? Freebie Feedback Friday. And hey, if you are able to be both pithy and interesting and funny with your comments, hey, you might win one or both of these items.
Yeah, absolutely, folks. You could get them both, and I think we're going to be giving the upper back also. Well, to last week's winner. So to what was his name? Jeff Brown. That's right. I get the message from him. So we're going to be making sure he gets one of each also.
Downtown Jeffrey Brown.
Downtown
That's what we're gonna
Brown.
call him. Downtown Jeffrey
Yep.
Brown. That's your name, bruh. I'm sorry.
Yep. Now listen, he used to be underground Jeff Brown, but then he came
Underground?
up.
No. He's downtown. Downtown. Some of y'all may not get that song, but I don't know what it is about that song. It just makes me all.
If they know that, they probably also know Basketball Jones. I'm just saying.
They probably do. They probably
same
do.
realm of music, and I know both of them. So there we go. That's it.
All right, bro. Hey, look, man. I think we have
Have we bantered enough?
And
Have we bantered enough?
we've bantered enough. I think it's time that we got into the news.
Let's get into news. Let's jump right into the most serious one because it involves the Supreme Court. Supreme Court of the United States had a ruling come down today in the case of, let me make sure I say this name right, Caniglia versus Storm. Caniglia versus Storm. This is great news for all freedom-loving peoples in this country. There was a swing for years that was giving more and more power to the government. You could just imagine under what kind of court that would occur to giving more and more freedom to the government to do what they wanted to. This has to do with police and their ability to search your home. Now, this is in limited circumstances. This is when no warrant has been issued for a search of the home. Now, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds. We're not a lawyer. Craig's not a lawyer either, but we're going to give it to you the best way we can understand. We read it all dumbed down and made the words, a monosyllable as best we could. The Supreme Court ruled that in order for the police to search your home while looking for weapons or other items, dangerous items, that they have to be in there for a couple of reasons. One would be with a warrant, an approved warrant by a judge, or the other one would be in an exigent circumstance. The exigent circumstance example would be cops walking down the street on his beat or driving by and sees you inside the home pointing a gun at someone else. At that point, they don't need a warrant to make entry to make sure safety is of paramount importance for everybody in that house. That's the circumstance. What happened in Caniglia versus Storm was a husband and wife had gotten into a fight. The husband pulled an empty, unloaded firearm, put it on a table in front of him, and told his wife, "You know what? I'm done. Just pull the trigger and get it over with for me."
Now, I'm sure that none of you out there have ever thought that at any time when dealing with a challenging conversation with your significant other.
Yeah. It sounds like very much like you said, Craig. It was his way of saying, "You know what? You win. Just whatever. Just whatever." Yeah. So I guess she ended up spending the night somewhere else. She goes to call him the next morning to make sure he's okay and can't get a hold of him. Calls the police. I understand this. She's concerned for his well-being. They go over there. He's sitting on the front porch drinking some coffee, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he says, "Nothing." "Well, was there a fight?" "Yeah." "Was there a gun?" "Yeah, there was, but it wasn't a big deal." So the police say, "Listen, they think that he might be suicidal." He says, "I'm not suicidal." But he strikes a deal up with the cops that says, "Listen, I'll go with you to get examined, but you don't get my guns." And the police said, "Okay, that's fine." Well, I guess after he went there, and the doctor determined he was not suicidal, which was a good thing, and just what he said. But the wife said, "Oh yeah, you could take the guns, and by the way, there's more inside." So the police went and took the guns.
Well, now mind you, that now, according to the article that I read, the police told her that he gave permission for them to take the guns. So the only reason she kind of gave him up was because she was under the impression that he said, "Yeah, it's cool, go ahead and take them."
Yes, exactly right. Now, and what they used under this authority, the Supreme Court said, is that we're throwing this out. You must give the guns back. You seized them illegally. You violate his Fourth Amendment to be safe in his home and secure in his papers. And they said a reasonable man would not have made the same assumption that you did. And also, officers, you lied about that. Now, Craig, let me say this: the police can lie to you during an investigation. They can lie to you to make you believe one other thing or another. Now, an example of this is, let's say you're one of those guys that likes to touch little kids or something. The cop can go in there and try and build rapport with you and say, "Listen, I understand how these little kids can make you think they're older," and they could do things like that. They can't say, "Oh, we promise we won't take your guns," and then take your guns. Okay, that's not part of the investigation.
Or say, "Yeah, your husband said we could take the guns," and then take the guns.
Correct.
When he didn't say that. Right.
Another example: you pull up onto the attractive person on the corner and you go, "Hey, baby, you want to party?" And she says, "Sure." And you go, "Are you a cop? Because if I ask you, you got to tell me." No, I'm not a cop. Okay, they lied to you during the investigation of a crime. Okay, that's okay. They don't have to tell you they're a cop. And by the way, if you thought the cops had to tell you when you asked them, you should really, really pick up books and read them. I'm just saying.
You should probably get arrested because you shouldn't be walking the streets.
Right, exactly right. So this case is a benefit. Now, there's a couple of things to clarify from here. The community caretaking portion of this is still in place. What that means is the example given was a case from 1973, Katie versus Dombrowski. It said, let's say you got arrested for a DUI. Your car was abandoned on the side of the road. The police have to impound it to get it out of the roadway. When they impound a vehicle, they do an inventory of it to see what's in it, just for legal purposes. Well, they found a gun in the car, so they put the gun into safekeeping. That's the caretaking, the community caretaking. They wouldn't want to leave a gun sitting in a car unsecure in an impound lot somewhere. That's called the
So,
community caretaking. They tried to
but
say this was community caretaking, and the
right.
Supreme Court said that is not
No,
community caretaking. That does not extend into the home. The home
no,
is already the domicile, the castle. You don't have to worry about that. Now,
no, you don't.
to answer
But
the next question, I'm sure you people have in your mind.
oh,
What about red flag laws?
you stealing my thunder. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you take it, Craig. Take it.
Well, no, and Justice Alito made it very, very clear that red flag laws actually cover a bunch of different. There's a bunch of different prerequisites under red flag laws, and the point of this was that he said was, look, there are still red flag laws still can be brought to us in order to answer questions about them, but this does not necessarily affect red flag laws. We're not making a ruling on red flag laws
Right now.
right
That's
now.
what
Oh
he
yeah,
said.
that was the emphasis. Right now.
No, right now. Wink, wink. When a red
Wink,
flag
wink.
order comes to us, we will examine it separately from this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Which,
that's the question I think everyone. I mean, it's the first question that came up in my mind when I saw this ruling.
yes.
So I know everyone else out there who has been following and understands red flag laws is asking themselves the same exact thing.
And here's why I think this is the most important part of that story. I just gave you 5-6 minutes. Craig and I just gave you 5-6 minutes on this case, this Caniglia versus Storm. It's what Justice Alito said about red flag laws. And the most important part about Caniglia versus Storm, this was not a 5-4 split. This was not a 6-3 split. This was all 9 judges agreeing that the police did not have that right to go into your home and violate your Fourth Amendment right without due process, without a warrant.
Unanimous,
and then
baby.
Then Alito alerts
9-0.
Yep. And then Justice Alito alludes to, this does not mean red flag laws. We'll look at those separately.
Well, and I think that was vitally important for this
That's
reason.
the biggest part, I think. Yeah.
Well, because I think that there are some of those justices that were part of that 9-0 decision that probably will not be with us on red flag laws, but I think there's a significant number of them that will. At least 5.
Listen, and this is the perfect precedent for that, because red flag laws, just like this case, is not about guns. It's about the Fourth Amendment and your right to be home and secure and safe in your home and in your
process. Because now interesting thing is, like in California, in many states with the gun violence restraining order, they don't issue warrants. In California, they actually issue a gun seizure warrant.
Yeah.
So when they come to look for your guns, it's not a warrantless search. They're not asking you to turn over your firearms. They have a warrant to seize them, which makes you wonder how many of these state laws out there, because it doesn't include a warrant, are now going to be suspect.
Yeah, and I'm not sure in Florida if it says warrant at the top or it says judge's order to do something. But it's clearly coming through the courts. So that's why they've been able to do it. Again, without due process. And like Judge Alito said, we'll look at those separately.
Exactly. So anyway, that's a good ruling, and hopefully it's a sign. It's a good sign of things to come.
Let's jump into the next one here, Craig. I want to talk to you about police unions and basically the way this story was written. This is going to let us talk about qualified immunity for a moment. For those that are unfamiliar with qualified immunity is the standard by which it says that the police cannot be held civilly liable unless they violated the law or one of your constitutional protections. That's what it says. Now, we've seen police individuals and police agencies that have benefited from this when the courts have applied it incorrectly. I have no issue with qualified immunity. If it does what it says it's supposed to do, and the case says that the law enforcement officer, and this is not for the agency, this is for the individual alone. It says that the individual can be held liable for civilly if they violated your rights or broke the law while they were doing their performing an official performance of their duties. So I have no problem with that. You break the law, you break your constitutional right, you should have to pay the consequences.
Exactly.
That's the way that goes. The courts have applied that differently because of some governments, some of the state governments, county governments, along with the agencies, have said, please, Judge, Your Honor, don't let that cop be held liable, because if he's held liable, then that's the precedent where they can sue the agency. So it's been applied incorrectly. So many people out there are trying to get qualified immunity rewritten. In my belief, we need to get it applied correctly rather than incorrectly as it's been applied. Well, what this article is trying to say is that police unions have done a major turnaround and have come to the defense of the president's new law enforcement, bill where that's supposed to correct law enforcement behavior and make them the community servants that they are rather than the protectors of the community. Well, and it says again the overwhelming majority of unions, police unions, Craig, the three unions that they said were the AFL-CIO. You've ever heard of the AFL-CIO before? I'm pretty sure you all have. That's
yeah.
Yeah. And Craig, and the AFL-CIO, what kind of a normal industry does that cover? That's yeah. There you go. Okay. All right.
I know a guy. Know a guy.
This is that kind of. This is the laborers union,
yes.
kind of place from the old town. Okay. Not a big law enforcement union. There's been one or two places that have taken them, and outside the major metropolitan areas, but not much. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Okay. Another connected organization, and these guys are again, a basic labor organization. Having nothing to do, for the most part, with law enforcement. And the last one, I had to look this one up. The Service Employee International Union. That's
SEIU covers cops?
No, they don't. They cover healthcare workers and industry people. Excuse me, the entertainment industry, the hospitality industry. So these three unions said, yeah, we're on board. And all of a sudden, CNN wants you and I to believe that means all law enforcement unions just showed up to say, we agree with this. Yeah, this is more, Craig. What do we say? What when the media tries to do this? What are they doing?
Fake news. Call fake news.
Fake news, folks. We'll write the story and we'll lie about it and make you believe it. We will mislead you any way we can, and you'll believe it because all you did was read the headline and not the story. So that's another example.
But here, Mike. Here's the thing, and this is the issue. So this is not. First of all, when it comes to unions, this is not just a cop thing, right? It deals with teachers. It deals with construction workers. It deals with whatever. In that, in many cases, you have unions who protect bad actors, people who are just not good at their job, right? Now, part of it is that's what people pay their union dues for. If someone is about to be terminated, whether for cause or not for cause, the union has a responsibility to represent them. Now, in some cases, I believe that union actually is standing up and protecting someone who should, in fact, be losing their jobs. And you want to know why it takes a long time, why it's so hard to get rid of bad teachers? It takes an average of 3 years and over $250,000 to fire a bad teacher. Well, a cop, there's no such thing as a teacher's Bill of Rights, but you do have a law enforcement Bill of Rights or a cop's Bill of Rights, which makes it even harder to get rid of a bad cop. Now, here's the thing I'll tell you. What I know of the cops that I know, none of them want to see a bad cop stay on the job. None of them, right? This is not something that comes from the rank and file. This is not something that necessarily the rank and file support. Matter of fact, let me clarify. The rank and file supported only to this point. If they were the ones and their job was on the line, they'd want their union to fight as hard as they could fight for them, which I think any of us would really want that, whether we felt we were right or wrong. But, that's kind of what you pay the union dues for. But for the most part, we're talking about union leadership who are the ones who are supporting and backing bad cops. And let me just be real. The number of bad cops is so small and so infinitesimal. I mean, 99.9% of those who work in law enforcement are sacrificing and putting themselves on the line every day for you and I. So I got no problem with them. But the small percentage that are doing things wrong or have done things wrong, I really would like to see it a little bit easier.
Yeah, and again, the reason the unions fight so hard, one of the reasons the union fights so hard, and Craig, you kind of hit on it there, same with the teachers, is that if the teacher, the individual, is found at fault, that gives them permission to go forth and sue the next entity, which would be the school board or the police department. And listen, if they get the teacher fired and win a $10,000 fine, that's one thing. If they win against the teacher, now they come after the school board for millions of dollars. How's that affect your budget there next year, Craig?
Well, the kids are the ones who wind up getting hurt.
Exactly right.
In the end, that money comes out of the budget that would
Right.
normally go to educate kids.
Sure. So it limits your ability to actually teach children.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's why a lot of times that the
Right.
fight for the first level there
Mm-hmm.
is so well protected. All right, let's jump up. Let's move along here. We got the next one. Second Amendment sanctuary cities. Looks like one of the first tests against a Second Amendment sanctuary city is going to be occurring in Oregon. Well, there's over 50% of this country right now. Over 50% of the counties in this country right now are Second Amendment sanctuaries. That's whether the county themselves have declared it or the state as a whole have declared themselves sanctuary counties for Second Amendment. What does that mean? Well, for the most part, right now, we've said this to you before. It's kind of it's kind of just a symbol at this point. It doesn't really mean anything. There's no teeth to it. However, if the federal government comes down and says we want to take these guns from you, and the local county or state has said you're not going to do that in my state. And there's been different levels where law enforcement has said we won't help, we won't assist, and there's other levels that have said we will block you at the door, bro. You're not coming into our state or our county to do that. So that's what's going on. Well, in Columbia, Oregon, and that's just north of Portland, there up on the Washington border. They passed 2 years ago an ordinance, local ordinance, county ordinance that says you cannot. We're a Second Amendment sanctuary county. Well, there's a little weird part in the law there, in the Oregon law, that says any judge within that jurisdiction can challenge it and take it to hearing to see if it's valid or not. And that's what's happened with an unnamed judge in Columbia County trying to see what the validity of this law is.
Well, and the interesting thing is that this judge could be one or the other. He could be someone who is anti-gun, is trying to challenge it and get it thrown out, or he could be someone he could be a judge who's trying to take something that right now doesn't appear to have a lot of legal teeth to it and put some teeth into it through a decision. So we don't know exactly what direction it's going or that they're going. What I do still believe is that, and I'm not sure if this was filed I believe it was filed in state court, but eventually, because it specifically has to deal with the Second Amendment, I would not be surprised to see this eventually get pushed over to federal courts.
Yeah, would not be surprised. And Craig, I think looking at the lay of the land there, I think you might be right. I think this might be a pro-gun judge who, while there's nobody's property or lives in jeopardy, is pushing to have this, teeth put into it, to have it solidified as legitimate, rather than have to wait until somebody's well-being is in the balance.
Well, and you know what? That's a good point. A lot of people don't realize that in a lot of these cases, an individual has to have their property or their life in danger. And quite frankly, in some cases, dude, they have to be in trouble in order to be able to challenge some of these things, in order to have, quote unquote, standing in some of these cases. And this is at least as an opportunity where we can have this idea heard, and no one is actually at risk for actually, if you lose, well, then everybody loses, but no specific individual is at risk for putting things on the line and losing everything in order to get a ruling out of the court.
And if they do lose this way, it also gives them the opportunity to go back and rewrite it so it would meet the standard.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactamundo. Good point. Excellent point.
Yep. Yeah. All right, let's keep rolling along here. Craig, I know you and I have had this discussion before ourselves with friends around us, and it's now time to bring it to all of you folks out there in rundown land. Listen, we all know that Chick-fil-A is the Lord's chicken, and that if you eat it, you'll be right.
Blasphemy.
No, if you
blasphemy.
Eat the Lord's chicken, you'll be right with God. It's one of the first steps you can take.
The only thing I will say that makes it the Lord's chicken, it is as dry as those communion wafers that we take on Communion Sunday. That's the only thing that makes it remotely the Lord's chicken.
And this is the things that haters say, folks, when they don't agree with the Lord's chicken. So make sure you write that down.
Popeyes, Pete. Popeyes.
Well, you know what? With the Lord's chicken, you don't have to get shot. So it's just the way. And I mean,
that's why. No, see, that's why Popeyes is the Lord's chicken, because you pray before you go into the hood to get it.
No. No, no, I meant shot with a syringe to bring you back to life after your heart stops from all the congealed grease inside a deep fried, ball of chicken that you
But
get
I
from
love
Popeyes.
congealed grease.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That's
All
what you
right,
get.
go ahead.
That's
Tell
what
the
you
story.
get. So, Chick-fil-A. And if you've ever had the Chick-fil-A sauce, you know what I'm talking about. If you've eaten a Chick-fil-A and you've had the Chick-fil-A sauce, right now you're going, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Please let it not be Sunday so I can go get some right now. Is what you're thinking to yourself. Um, well, there's a shortage of Chick-fil-A sauce at Chick-fil-A's around the country, and I'm going to take a big leap here. I'm going to jump out and I'm going to say this: it's Joe Biden's fault. It's absolutely Joe Biden's fault. The Chick-fil-A
Only
has
Joe Biden could screw up chicken.
Well, listen. I mean, look at that man. He's clearly not healthy. He's not right with the Lord's chicken. Otherwise, he wouldn't have these falling up the stair and dementia problems. Okay, he has stopped the flow of trucks flowing across the state lines in many places because of raising the price of gas, because of the shutdown of the pipeline, because the way he mishandled the pipeline down in the southeast with the ransomware and had no clue what was going on. He just sat back, and I bet you they tried to explain to him to 3 days what was going on at that pipeline, and he had not a clue. A ransomware?
All right.
What terrorism? What?
I have developed a theory, a conspiracy theory. Here's what it is. See, we all know that the Democratic Party is, well, they don't believe in, God as we do, the Christian God. Because clearly all the policies that they put forth show how inconsistent they are and what they don't believe in. So because Chick-fil-A is a company that believes in the Christian God and promotes Christianity and all of that, he did this specifically so that they would run out of sauce and that they would have to limit the amount of sauce available. It's a conspiracy. It is an anti-religious conspiracy.
I would not hold it against them. We know how the Bible Belt plays into with the conservatives. We know that it's one and the same. I would not hold it against them, but I'm telling you, because of Joe Biden's actions as president, that's the reason you have a shortage of Chick-fil-A sauce at your restaurants. They're now handing it out like one per sandwich. No, I need one for my sandwich. I need one for my waffle fries. I need one for my shake too.
It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy, folks. You can see it happen. Look, it doesn't take much to draw all the dots.
That's right. I bet you there's no shortage of lard at Popeyes, is there? I bet you get that all day long.
No.
All right.
Oh no, no shortage of lard at Popeyes.
Yeah. Just like, well, they just keep reusing it, so they don't have to worry about it. Just go out back to the vats and pull it out, bring it back in here. We'll be good. It'd be more flavor for the next guy.
You're just hating, bruh. You're just hating. It's okay. It's okay. Go on. Get back to talking about the Lord's chicken.
Well, it is the Lord's chicken, and I'm just going to say it's really good chicken, and they're really good people. And I enjoy their food. When I decide to have fast food, that's what I usually decide to have. So, Craig, I'm going to call an audible here, and we're going to bring it up for a vote. We're going to see how this goes real quick. We're running up on the clock. We're right at the end where people like to be comfortable watching us. We want to talk about the TSA and FAA. That's probably a 5 or 10 minute topic. What do you think, Craig? We share that with the folks today, or we kick that one till tomorrow?
Tell you what, why don't we tease it and then we'll tease it, and if people show an interest in it, we'll get back to it on tomorrow's tomorrow's show. Right. But let's tease it real quick. Just tell us real quick about it, and then we'll get on to the parting shot.
I'm going to tease it right now. Nanny, boo boo, FAA, TSA, you suck. There we go. I teased it.
Okay, on to our parting shot.
What? That's not how you tease things. I don't know. Good story, folks. Good story about TSA and FAA and the due process you are not afforded when dealing with either one of those agencies. How about that? We'll leave that with you for tomorrow, and we'll come back around to it. Craig, was that all right? Was that a good tease? I mean,
that was a good tease. That was a very good tease.
Okay.
That was a very good tease.
Let's take it like that. Let's jump into our parting shot then, real quick.
All right. So here we go. Where are we at? Bam! Like that. Now, here's the thing, and this was as soon as Mike sent this to me. Here's the thing that I know, and I'm going to tell you right now. I've been involved in the gun rights community long enough to know a lot of the come and take it crowd, the people who are always posting on Facebook and on Twitter, come and take it. If they show up, I'm going to give them my gun one round at a time. Let me just be real, okay? I'm just going to be real. Most people, I don't care if you're someone who says that, People who don't say that. If the popo shows up at your house with a warrant, not with a warrant, if they just show up at your house to come take your guns, I'm sorry. There are a lot of people going to be like, okay, well, they're right over there. Just please don't shoot me. A lot of us, we all like to, as I like to tell my fraternity brother Hollis, everybody likes to flow show a little bit, right? But sometimes you just have to be real. The people who I worry about, quite frankly, aren't the people who brag and talk about come and take it on Facebook. It's the people who don't say anything. They are the ones who are more than likely to stand up.
And I look at this picture, and we have a similar view, but it's my belief, at least, from what I understand, that what the look is and look at Cube, him sitting there looking all cubish. Him sitting there in closed groups, that look in closed groups, that's how he really is. That's how I really am. In the closed groups, you could be yourself because you got that controlled group of friends. The regular Facebook, that's what you want your boss to see, right? So when they do the review let's see what kind of a guy we're going to potentially give a job to. You want them to see the guy on regular Facebook. You don't want them to see the real guy in the closed group. So that's
okay. So I get the point that you're making, because there are folks who you get them in a closed group and all of a sudden you do see the real them.
Yeah. So that's my belief anyway. By the way, Ice Cube's greatest movie, 22 Jump Street. If you haven't seen it, go out and see it. And I'm not even getting paid to say
I'm
that.
sorry, better than Boys in the Hood.
Better than Boys in the Hood.
Better than Are We There Yet?
Listen, I could. You want me to quote all of Fridays and next Friday? I could do all that right now.
How could I forget about Friday? Nah, man.
You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie,
Craig. How you lose your job on your day off?
22 Jump Street. Watch 22 Jump Street.
22 Jump Street. Well, folks, hey, you know what? We really appreciate you guys tuning in. I mean, this show is nothing without you guys. And so, do us a favor. Look, subscribe, share, let your friends know about the rundown, and visit our sponsors, Gorilla Machining and Grid Defense. Make sure you also tune in for feedback/Freebie Friday, and get involved, engage in the conversation, encourage your friends to do the same. And like I said, hey, look, if your conversation game is strong, you may be walking away with a freebie. Just saying.
There you go. They go like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on Wacky Wednesday, Whiskey Wednesday.
Wacky Whiskey Wednesday.
Wacky Whiskey Wednesday. I'm just making this up as I go along.
Look, we're going to have a nickname for every day of the week, eventually. Although it's also Hump Day.
Hump Day. That's it. All that other stuff is gone. It's Hump Day.
Talk to you guys later.